The rehearsal dinner was at the River Club in Portland. 120 guests, crystal chandeliers, a string quartet playing softly in the corner. My future mother-in-law, Diane Montgomery, stood at the microphone, elegant in navy silk, smiling that practiced smile she'd perfected over 62 years of high society events. "I'd like to make a toast," she said, "to my son Aaron and his beautiful bride Jessica. May tomorrow bring them all the happiness they deserve." The guests raised their glasses, clinked, sipped champagne that cost more per bottle than my weekly salary. I stood up, walked to the front of the room, pulled out my phone. "Actually," I said, voice steady despite my racing heart, "I have something I'd like everyone to hear before we continue." Aaron's face went from confused to alarmed. He knew. He'd seen me recording something in our hotel room an hour ago, tried to stop me, failed. Diane's smile froze. "Jessica, dear, this isn't the appropriate time." "It's the perfect time, because I want everyone here to know exactly what they're celebrating tomorrow." I connected my phone to the sound system, hit play. Diane's voice filled the room, crystal clear, unmistakable. "After tomorrow, I'll make your life hell. You think marrying my son makes you family? You'll never be family. You're a mistake Aaron's making, and I'll spend every day reminding you of that." The room went silent. 120 people frozen. Champagne glasses suspended mid-air. I looked at Diane. Her face had gone from composed to ashen. That was recorded 2 hours ago, in the bridal suite, where my future mother-in-law cornered me to explain exactly what my marriage would look like. Then I walked out. Left the rehearsal dinner, left the stunned guests, left Aaron calling my name. The wedding was 12 hours away, and everything was about to change. If you've ever had to expose someone's true colors in the most dramatic way possible, stay with me until the end. Your support means everything to me. Hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, would you have played that recording or kept it private? Let's talk about it. Now, back to my story. My name is Jessica Parker. I'm 31 years old, or I was on May 14th when all of this happened. The day before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I'm a graphic designer. I run a small studio in Portland, Oregon. Modest success. Good clients. Enough income to live comfortably in a city where comfort doesn't come cheap. I met Aaron Montgomery 2 years earlier at a mutual friend's gallery opening. He was an architect, successful, thoughtful. We talked for 3 hours about design theory, urban planning, and our shared love of mid-century modernism. He asked me to dinner, then another dinner. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within a year, he proposed. Aaron came from money, not flashy wealth, old Portland money. His family owned commercial real estate across the Pacific Northwest. His father, Richard, managed the portfolio. His mother, Diane, managed everything else. Meeting the Montgomerys was like auditioning for a role I didn't know I was playing. The first dinner was at their estate in the West Hills, 6,000 square feet, views of Mount Hood, original artwork, fresh flowers in every room arranged by someone they paid to arrange flowers. Diane greeted me at the door, took in my Target dress with a single sweep of her eyes. "How lovely," she said. The words said one thing, her tone said another. Dinner was formal, 5 courses, multiple forks I didn't know how to use, conversation about people I'd never heard of, art I'd never seen, places I'd never been. "Jessica, Aaron tells us you're a designer," Richard said kindly. "What sort of design?" "Graphic design. I have my own studio, small business branding mostly, logos, websites, marketing materials." "How entrepreneurial," Diane said. "Self-employment must be so uncertain, no benefits, no security. How do you manage?" It sounded like a question. It was a judgment. Aaron's hand found mine under the table, squeezed. "Jessica's incredibly talented. She's built her business from nothing." "Yes, well," Diane smiled, "we all have to start somewhere." The implication was clear. I was still at the starting point. They had arrived long ago. That first dinner set the pattern for 2 years. Every family event was a test. Every interaction a chance for Diane to highlight the gap between Aaron's world and mine. At Christmas, she gave me a gift certificate to etiquette classes. "Just a thought," she said. "Professional development." At Easter, she introduced me to her friends as Aaron's girlfriend who works on computers. Not fiancé, not. At a family dinner, she mentioned Aaron's ex-girlfriend. "Natalie was so lovely. Remember Aaron? She studied at Princeton. Her family has that vineyard in Napa. Such a loss when you two ended." Aaron defended me. Sometimes. "Mom, Jessica is brilliant. Stop comparing her to Natalie." But he never addressed the underlying issue. His mother didn't think I was good enough, and on some level, he agreed. I saw it in small moments. When we attended Montgomery family events, Aaron would coach me beforehand. "Don't mention your student loans. Don't talk about your apartment. Just be aware of the audience." Be aware of the audience meant pretend to be someone you're not. I tried. For 2 years, I tried. Bought more expensive clothes, learned which fork to use, laughed at jokes I didn't understand, pretended I belonged. But I never quite fit, and Diane made sure I knew it. When Aaron proposed, I thought things would change, that once we were officially engaged, Diane would accept me, accept that her son had chosen me. I was wrong. The engagement made everything worse, because now Diane couldn't ignore me. I wasn't going away. I was becoming a Montgomery. Wedding planning became a war. Diane wanted the Portland Country Club. I wanted a smaller venue. Aaron sided with his mother. It's tradition. Every Montgomery has married there. Diane wanted 250 guests. I wanted 75. Aaron sided with his mother. We can't exclude family business associates. It would be insulting. Diane wanted a string quartet. I wanted a jazz band. Aaron sided with his mother. Classical music is more appropriate for the venue. Every single decision. I wasn't planning my wedding. I was being absorbed into the Montgomery machine. 3 months before the wedding, I tried to talk to Aaron about it. "Your mother is taking over everything. This doesn't feel like our wedding anymore. She's just trying to help. She's good at events." I didn't ask for help. I asked for a wedding that reflects us. It does reflect us. My family is part of who I am, Jessica. You need to accept that. I'm not asking you to cut off your family. I'm asking you to include me in decisions about my own wedding. Our wedding. And you are included. You just don't like the decisions. That was the truth he wouldn't say. I didn't like the decisions because they erased me. Every choice Diane made reinforced that this was a Montgomery event. I was just the bride-shaped placeholder. The breaking point came 3 weeks before the wedding. Diane called me, asked me to meet her for lunch. "Just us girls," she said brightly. "Wedding talk." We met at a restaurant in the Pearl District. Expensive. The kind of place where water costs $12. Diane ordered for both of us. Didn't ask what I wanted. Just told the server, "We'll both have the salmon." Then she got to the point. "Jessica, I want to talk to you about expectations." Expectations? For after the wedding. You understand that marrying Aaron comes with certain responsibilities, social obligations, family appearances, maintaining the Montgomery reputation. I understand that. I'm not sure you do. She leaned forward. The Montgomery name means something in this city. We have standards, expectations. Aaron's wife will need to uphold those. I'll do my best. Your best may not be sufficient. She said it kindly, like she was helping me understand a difficult concept. You come from a different background, different values, different social standing. That's not your fault, but it is a reality. What are you saying? I'm saying that I don't think you're prepared for what being a Montgomery entails, and I'm concerned that Aaron's making a mistake. My hands clenched under the table. Does Aaron know you're saying this? Aaron is blinded by infatuation. He'll realize eventually. The question is whether you'll save him the embarrassment of a divorce by ending this now. You want me to call off the wedding? I want you to consider whether this is truly in Aaron's best interest or yours. I love him. Love isn't always enough. She signaled for the check. Think about what I've said. I'll be here when you're ready to make the mature decision. She paid, left. I sat there for 20 minutes, shaking. That night, I told Aaron everything. His response, She's just nervous. Mothers get emotional before weddings. She doesn't mean it. She told me to call off the wedding. She's being dramatic. Ignore her. Aaron, she thinks I'm not good enough for you. She'll come around. When? After we're married? After we have kids? When exactly will she decide I'm acceptable? Jessica, you're making this bigger than it is. Your mother told me our marriage is a mistake. That's pretty big. She's adjusting. Give her time. The day before the wedding, I checked into the hotel where the ceremony would take place. The Grand Portland Hotel. Elegant. Historic. Diane's choice. My room was a suite, paid for by the Montgomerys. Everything was paid for by the Montgomerys. The wedding was costing $180,000. I'd contributed $2,000. I was getting dressed for the rehearsal dinner when someone knocked. Diane. Alone. May I come in? I opened the door. She swept in, looking around the suite like she was inspecting property she owned. This is lovely. I'm glad you're comfortable. It's beautiful. Thank you. We spared no expense. This wedding will be spectacular. Everyone who matters in Portland will be there. The Montgomerys always make an impression. I appreciate everything you've done. Do you? She sat on the couch, uninvited. Because I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure you understand the opportunity you're being given. I stayed standing. What do you mean? You're marrying into one of Portland's most respected families. You're gaining access to a social circle you could never enter on your own. You're being handed a life you didn't earn. I didn't ask to be handed anything. I fell in love with Aaron. How convenient for you. A struggling graphic designer marrying a wealthy architect. Quite the upgrade. That's not why. It doesn't matter why. What matters is what happens next. After tomorrow, you'll be a Montgomery. And I need to be very clear about what that means. She stood, walked closer. Her voice dropped to something cold and precise. After tomorrow, I'll make your life hell. You think marrying my son makes you family? You'll never be family. You're a mistake Aaron's making, and I'll spend every day reminding you of that. Every family dinner, every holiday, every social event. I'll be there to make sure you know exactly where you stand, which is beneath us, always. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just stared at her. You can't stop the wedding at this point. Too many people, too much money spent, too embarrassing for Aaron. But you can make the next 50 years easier on yourself. Be pleasant, be quiet. Don't embarrass us. And maybe, I'll make your life tolerable instead of miserable. She walked to the door, turned back. Welcome to the family, Jessica. I hope you're ready. She left. I stood there, shaking, processing. Then I did something I'd never done before. I grabbed my phone, opened the voice memo app, and I recreated the conversation, spoke into my phone, recorded myself repeating every word Diane had just said. It wasn't the actual recording, but it was close enough to remind me, to prove to myself I hadn't imagined it. Then I had an idea. Aaron had a recording pen, a gift from a client who worked in corporate espionage. He'd showed it to me once, laughing about how unnecessary it was. Who needs to record conversations? I found it in his bag, small, discreet, looked like a normal pen. I put it in my pocket, went downstairs, found Diane in the hotel bar with her sister, Aaron's Aunt Margaret. Diane, could I speak with you for a moment? Privately? She excused herself. We walked to a quiet corner. I placed the pen in my pocket. Recording. I wanted to apologize, I said. For earlier. I was defensive. I understand you're protecting your son. Her face softened slightly. She thought she'd won. I'm glad you understand. I do. But I need to know. What you said earlier, about making my life hell after the wedding. Did you mean that? Every word. So after tomorrow, you'll make sure I never feel like family? You'll never be family, Jessica. You'll be the woman my son married. There's a difference. And you'll remind me of that every chance you get? Consider it my maternal duty. Someone has to protect Aaron from this mistake. Since he won't protect himself, I will. By making me miserable. By making you aware of your place. If that makes you miserable, perhaps you shouldn't have climbed so far above your station. I had it, all of it, recorded. Thank you for your honesty, I said. I appreciate knowing where I stand. Good, as long as we understand each other. She walked back to the bar. I went back to my suite. I listened to the recording 3 times. Her voice, her words, her contempt, all crystal clear. Then I made a decision. The rehearsal itself was uneventful. We walked through the ceremony. The officiant explained the timing. Everyone smiled and pretended we were one happy family. Aaron's groomsmen joked about bachelor party stories. My bridesmaids. The rehearsal dinner started at 7 p.m. The River Club was stunning. Diane had outdone herself. Every detail perfect. Every guest important. The Montgomerys' social circle on full display. I sat at the head table. Aaron beside me, Diane across from us. The seating arrangement put us face to face all night. Dinner was served. Speeches began. Aaron's father gave a warm welcome. My father gave a sweet toast about little girls growing up. Aaron's best friend told embarrassing college stories. Then Diane stood, moved to the microphone. The room quieted. I'd like to make a toast to my son Aaron and his beautiful bride Jessica. Beautiful bride, not daughter-in-law, not family member, bride. Aaron, you've brought such joy to our lives. Watching you grow into the man you've become has been my greatest privilege. And tomorrow, you begin a new chapter. She looked at me. That smile. Jessica, welcome to the Montgomery family. May tomorrow bring you all the happiness you deserve. All the happiness you deserve. Not all the happiness in the world, what I deserved, which, in Diane's mind, was very little. Everyone raised their glasses, began to drink. I stood up, walked to the front. Actually, I said, I have something I'd like everyone to hear. Aaron's face went pale. Jessica, what are you... I recorded a conversation today with Diane. I think everyone should hear it before we celebrate tomorrow. Diane's smile vanished. Jessica, this is inappropriate. Is it? Because I think it's inappropriate to threaten your son's fiancée the night before the wedding. But here we are. I connected my phone to the sound system. Hit play. My voice first. What you said earlier, about making my life hell after the wedding, did you mean that? Then Diane, every word. The room was frozen. 120 people listening. My voice. So after tomorrow, you'll make sure I never feel like family? Diane's voice. You'll never be family, Jessica. You'll be the woman my son married. There's a difference. My voice. And you'll remind me of that every chance you get? Diane's voice. Consider it my maternal duty. Someone has to protect Aaron from this mistake. Since he won't protect himself, I will. I let it play. Every damning word. The room so quiet, I could hear people breathing. When it ended, I turned to face them all. That was recorded 2 hours ago. My future mother-in-law cornered me to explain that after tomorrow, my life will be hell, that I'll never be family, that I'm a mistake her son is making, and that she'll spend every day reminding me of that. Diane found her voice. You recorded me without permission. In Oregon, one-party consent is legal. I didn't need your permission, and I'm glad I didn't, because now everyone knows exactly who you are. Aaron stood. Jessica, let's talk about this privately. No, we're done talking privately. We're done pretending. We're done letting your mother treat me like I'm beneath you while you make excuses for her. I looked at the crowd, at Aaron's family, his business associates, his friends, all of them staring. I loved Aaron enough to try to fit into this world, to accept being treated like I wasn't good enough, to smile through the insults and the condescension and the constant reminders that I didn't belong. But I won't marry into a family where the matriarch has promised to make my life hell, where my husband won't defend me, where I'm told I'm above my station for daring to love someone. I turned to Aaron. Your mother told you I was a mistake. You said she didn't mean it. She meant every word. And you knew she did. You just chose to ignore it because dealing with her was harder than sacrificing me. Tears filled his eyes. Jessica, please. I'm done being the sacrifice. The wedding is off. Enjoy your rehearsal dinner." I walked out, through the stunned silence, through the doorway, into the cool Portland night. Behind me, chaos erupted, voices overlapping, Diane trying to defend herself, Aaron calling my name. I kept walking. I went back to the hotel, packed my things. My maid of honor, Emma, found me 20 minutes later. "Oh my God," she breathed. "That was the most badass thing I've ever seen. I just canceled my wedding in front of 120 people. You just exposed a narcissistic monster in front of everyone she was trying to impress. There's a difference." Emma helped me pack. We left through a service entrance to avoid Aaron, who was texting frantically, calling, leaving voicemails. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. We drove to Emma's apartment. I spent my non-wedding night on her couch, eating ice cream, watching reality TV, and fielding texts from family and friends. Most were supportive. "You did the right thing." That took. Some were confused. "Can't you work this out? It's just cold feet." Everyone has difficult in-laws. I didn't explain. If they didn't understand, no explanation would help. Aaron showed up at Emma's apartment at 2 a.m. She refused to let him in. "Jessica, please, we need to talk." I went to the door, didn't open it, spoke through it. "There's nothing to talk about. My mother is impossible, I know that. But I love you. We can set boundaries. We had 2 years to set boundaries. You never did. You chose her comfort over my dignity every single time. That's not fair. Your mother told me she'd make my life hell. You heard the recording, and your first response was to defend her, not to be horrified, not to cut her off, to defend her. That tells me everything." I was in shock. You've been in shock for 2 years, watching her treat me like I'm beneath you, doing nothing, saying it'll get better. It never got better, Aaron, and it never would have. So that's it? One mistake and you walk away? One mistake? She spent 2 years making it clear I'm not good enough. You've spent 2 years letting her. That's not one mistake. That's who you are. Jessica, I'll fix this. You can't fix this. Your mother said out loud what you've thought all along, that I'm above my station, that I don't belong. You just didn't have the courage to say it. She did it for you. Silence. Long. Damning. You don't believe that, he finally said. The Aaron I fell in love with would have defended me, would have set boundaries, would have chosen me. You're not that Aaron. Maybe you never were. Jessica, go home, Aaron. The wedding's canceled. The deposits are lost. Tell your mother she won. She got exactly what she wanted. I walked away from the door. Emma put her arm around me. And for the first time since the rehearsal dinner, I cried. Not for Aaron. For the version of him I'd invented. The man who would have chosen me, who never actually existed. 1 year later, I'm sitting in my expanded design studio. I hired 2 employees, took on bigger clients. My business grew 200% after I stopped spending emotional energy trying to fit into the Montgomery world. I'm single, dating occasionally. No rush. I've learned that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel small. Aaron got married 6 months ago, to a woman named Charlotte, from a Portland family Diane approves of. I saw the wedding announcement. They married at the Portland Country Club. I felt nothing. No jealousy, no regret. Just relief that I'd dodged that life. Emma forwarded me a message last week from Aaron's cousin who'd been at the rehearsal dinner. Thought you'd want to know. Aaron's marriage is already struggling. Charlotte says Diane is impossible, controlling, intrusive. Aaron won't set boundaries. Sound familiar? You made the right call. I'd made the right call. Diane taught me something valuable. She showed me that some people will never accept you, will never think you're good enough, will spend years making you feel less than, and you have 2 choices. Keep trying to earn their acceptance, destroying yourself in the process. Or walk away. I walked away, publicly, dramatically, in front of everyone Diane was trying to impress. Did I embarrass her? Absolutely. Did I cause a scandal? Definitely. Do I regret it? Not even a little. Because playing that recording wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. about refusing to be gaslit, about making sure everyone knew that I didn't leave because of cold feet or immaturity or any excuse Diane would have invented. I left because I was promised a lifetime of hell, and I decided I deserved better. My MIL said, "After tomorrow, I'll make your life hell," the night before my wedding. So I played the recording at the rehearsal dinner. And I walked away from hell into a life I built myself, where I don't have to prove I'm good enough, where I don't have to shrink to fit, where I'm valued for exactly who I am. Diane Montgomery can keep her country club and her social circle and her miserable son who can't stand up to her. I'll keep my dignity. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support truly means the world to me. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. I love reading every single one of them. Each comment inspires me to keep creating stories for you. See you next time.